Yo. What's up? Let's check that this thing is working. It is. How's it going, everybody? Thank you to all the people waiting. I appreciate you for being here. 6 p.m. every Thursday. What's up? LKD70, always in the chat. What's up? Jurianne, it's stream time. How you doing? Oh, I gotta turn the CRT on. Gotta have the chat. This CRT is a little boofed. The buttons are all like, something's wrong with the control board behind this thing. So if I press the power button wrong, it'll flex the board. Now that I'm trying to demonstrate it, it won't do it. But sometimes it'll change the volume. Sometimes it'll change, like the power button is a random button, basically. Sometimes it changes the volume. Sometimes it switches the channel and goes to static. Papis in the chat. What's up? We back. Papkive says hello. What's up? Glad to see a Papkive upload today. LKD70, what's good, Woodman? What's up? What's good, Woodman? It's Woodman because somebody in the Discord said that. Somebody in the Discord was like, my girlfriend always said, or maybe it was his wife, I don't know. He was like, she refers to me as the Woodman because I wasn't even that conscious of it, but like every project I do something with wood. Even when it's a tech video, I incorporate wood somehow. So it's me, the Woodman. Yo, Ronan97. Evan, please, can you do the live a little earlier? Here in Europe, it's midnight. Yeah, it's tough because it's like, I have this same thing with a lot of streamers that I like are in California on the West Coast, and so they're 3 hours ahead. So like if they go live at 6 p.m., it's like already 9 p.m. my time. So, but it's like at the same time, I go live at 6 p.m. Eastern. People in California are still like at work, but in Europe it's super late. So it's a tough thing. Maybe I'm open to doing different stream times every week. I just, for now, I'm trying to kind of establish regularity to it, I guess. Just so people know too, because there's so many new people coming in every week, just to have some level of expectations. But I'm totally open to switching up the stream times every now and then, and maybe even doing 2 streams a week eventually. Oh, my pen fell apart in my pocket. It's unfortunate. I need to modify this pen. It's something I want to do, but the pen that I carry everywhere, the screw top on it is very loose. And I feel like I could just drill a tiny little hole through it and stick a little machine screw in there. But that's not enough for a video. I kind of want to do a video that's just like a bunch of tiny repairs. Just like picking 10 random objects out of my area and fixing just the tiniest things on all of them. While we're early in the stream, also hello to all the VOD watchers. I know a lot of people click after the stream because I know the timing doesn't line up well. But I appreciate all the VOD watchers as well. What's good? You trying to get owned in Minecraft PvP? Ask me again like an hour and a half into the stream, and literally maybe. Saw the Discord note, yeah. Oh yeah, the stream notifications go up in the Discord. Obligatory Discord plug if you're new here. Discord link is in the description. Lots of cool people in there working on all kinds of projects. We were talking about CNC milling just a minute ago. Yeah. OMG Woodman. Yes, sir. Where was I in the chat? Hello, Woodman. What's up? I'm watching at an assembly again. A school thing. Are you on the West Coast then? It's like 3 p.m. for you. Good old school assemblies. There's a lot of funny I assume you're talking about a school. You're the same person that the other day was saying you were watching at school. Um, I have a lot of good memories from crappy school assemblies back in high school. They always do those stupid games with the school council and all that stuff. Uh, Lots of fun. Hey y'all, what's up, Lyndon? I'm the girlfriend. It's Woodman. It's the originator of the Woodman term. What's up? Glad to have you here. It's kind of a meme. I like it. The Woodfella. Uh, Chunky Samurai, yo. When do I get a pingable Woodman role on the Discord? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll add it. I don't have like a lot of Discords, they'll have like a specific role for the creator or whatever. I have not done that yet, but maybe it should be Woodman. Um, would do a little bit of PFFE tape to not help the jam the pen closed. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of this is a weird thing. I kind of hate tape. I avoid adhesives whenever possible because there's always like over time it's like a sticky residue. It's why I modified the Rode mic the way that I did. Because like I could have just glued it back together instead of doing the whole stitching wood thing. But I just glue is annoying. So I'd rather just drive a little screw into the pen. But I'd have to get a really tiny one to not mess up the internals. Let me know if the CRT is making any annoying noises today. I think if I position the mic right, it doesn't pick it up, but let me know. Lots of tiny repairs would be neat for a vid, I think. Yeah, and it would be, it's a lot of, I kind of use the channel in general as an excuse to do projects that I've been wanting to do anyway. And, but that doesn't apply to smaller stuff. So every once in a while, a little batch of small repairs could be pretty fun. And also like, it's free, like, at least during this season of the channel that I'm not like making much money from it. Most of the ideas are things that I can do for a small budget. So that would be a good one. Lots of tiny things. Have you ever considered doing a video about cyberdecks? Not familiar with what a cyberdeck is. Raspberry Pi thing? What is this? I'm Googling it. Live Googling. Just like a tiny Raspberry Pi computer setup? That would be kind of cool. I've never messed with Raspberry Pis, but I feel like it would be kind of in my wheelhouse. Tiny little things. Would spam the Woodman roll. Let's go. Yeah, I'll add that. What mic are you using for VO in your recent vids, my friend? This one. Rode Pod mic. It's like $100. The best $100 I've ever spent on any camera gear. Like, that's so cheap for something that does as much as it does. Like, investing in a simple mic is like so big. Residue from electrical tape is awful after a while. Yeah, exactly. Electrical tape is one of those tapes that I really do not know. Also, duct tape. People are like, oh, duct tape. Like, it used to be a bigger meme than it was, but like duct tape everything. And, but duct tape actually sucks. Like, I have so many kinds of tape over there, but never duct tape. It's kind of bad at everything. There's always a better tape than duct tape. You should do a montage of fixing things, IMO. Yeah, something like that. Just a handful of tiny projects could go hard as a video. Kind of like the one I did the other week of just a bunch of minor workspace improvements to the desk over there. Hello, Woodman. What's up? I have 6 diamond hose and 4 maxed out netherite hose in Minecraft. I just wanted to let y'all know. Dang, he's flexing on us right now. That's actually big. Wouldn't it be funny if I just randomly one week posted a Minecraft Let's Play? But like voice over it exactly the same as my regular videos. That'd be funny. Uh, PTFE tape isn't sticky. It's just kind of a roll of thin PTFE, which goes on threads normally to make them. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, that might work pretty well. I use electrical tape for things a lot, but never anything permanent, really. Yeah, yeah. Um, Especially like in my car, they use electrical tape to wrap up a bunch of like the wiring harness cables. And over time, because it's a 15-year-old car now, um, right? It's a 2007. That's wild. But yeah, they use a lot of electrical tape, and over the years, it gets so sticky and disintegrates, and it's not even doing anything anymore. It's just making all the wires sticky. So every time I do any maintenance on the wiring of the car, I have to like work through a bunch of sticky wires. Yeah, we want Minecraft. Yeah, maybe I'll play Minecraft. I did that a couple weeks ago on the stream, um, just cause why not? Have you ever tried Flex tape? No, not the tape. I have the Flex seal somewhere. I think this white can right here. I think that's Flex tape or Flex seal. I can't remember what I bought it for. Um, oh, I was experimenting with it for like uh on the bottom of, this was such a terrible idea, but the bottom of a shoe that was like the rubber was going away. I wanted to see if like Flex Seal on the bottom of a shoe would like kind of restore the sole and make it grippier again, but I don't think it worked very well. Um, so that can is probably 2017. That's a 7-year-old can. Don't know if it works anymore, but it's up there. But no, never tried Flex tape. Um, what are my favorite tapes? Gaffer's tape, painter's tape, depending on what it is. Got a couple gaff tape rolls up there. That stuff is great. It's just expensive. Um, I wanted to get enough diamonds for a full set of armor, so I decided to go mining. I really like, yeah, yeah, just like doing very on-brand voiceover on a Minecraft Let's Play. It would be really funny. Maybe one day when there's less at stake, when the channel's a little bigger and I can meme for a week. Video idea: sub send in things that need repair, but with no context, not telling you what's wrong or broken, and you fix it your own way. Yes, I have literally thought about this. After I move, because I'm moving in a couple weeks and then moving again a couple months after that, which is a whole mess. But I think once I'm settled in like the actual next studio after this weird between phase, once I'm settled in the new studio in Indianapolis, I'm going to set up a PO box. I think that would be fun, at least for streams to like unbox random stuff, but like as a video idea, um, sending in random stuff for repair, I think would be cool. The tough thing is it's like a big part of why I do what I do is because it's like low pressure, and if I screw up my own thing, I don't care that much. But I would not. I don't know if I'd be as bold on the repairs, if that would be as easy if other people's stuff is on the line. But maybe. Um, I definitely have some ideas I'm brewing up for PO box stuff though. Quick Q: how did you mod the old lens in the $0 cam rig video to a more modern cam? Where's my adapter? It's literally a simple. Uh, this isn't the exact adapter. I don't know where I set the other one, but it's like a $10, $15 piece of metal. It's like this. So you just look up like you can only do it on mirrorless cameras because the lens has to be a certain distance from the sensor. So it's like on a camera like this, the $0 rig one, it's like it needs to be this far from the sensor. And so this, which for this camera it would be a EFM to C mount plate. It's just got both ends. Super cheap. But if you're doing it on a camera like a DSLR, like this one, DSLRs, like 5D, the ones with a mirror in them, it'll be, the mount is too far away from the sensor because there's all this other stuff in there. And so for the lens to focus properly, it would need to be like all the way back in there. So you can't do it on a DSLR, but you can do it on a mirrorless. And they make adapters for all the common mounts. So, you can do it to EFM, you can do it to RF, you can do it to Sony E, Fujifilm X, Micro Four Thirds, all that. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's fun, and C-mount lenses are pretty cheap too. Clear Focus Films, what's up? Hey, Evan had to pop in and say the weekly hello. What's up? You have a cool Neistat vibe, both with your studio setup and videos. Which of the Neistat brothers are your favorite? All the best, all the way from Denmark. I mean, it's hard to pick favorites, but Casey's been around for longer, right? Like watching Casey's vlogs when those were coming out and I was in like high school, that's like the reason that I've structured my life the way I have now. It's like, oh, you can do that. You can build your own shelves and, work with, it's like a whole new world, that just clicked with me. And I was like, this is me. This is what I need to do. So, I mean, Casey has made a bigger impact in like my general, workspace setup. But like in the past 3 years that Van has been making content, that like unlocked kind of the voice that I can be on YouTube is like, oh, I don't have to like over sensationalize myself. Like I can be myself and I can talk a little slower and go on tangents and explain things, and like people like that. So Casey helped me realize that I could like do all this stuff, and Van helped me realize that like people like that and that you don't have to clickbait your do all the YouTube tricks to have people watch it. Can't be here for long, but the time I have I will enjoy. Hell yeah, thank you for being here. That monitor is sweet. Yeah, the old CRT for the chat. Hopefully it's not making too much noise this week. One day I will, in the new setup, I'm going to move it farther away. It's tough because it has to be like close enough. I guess you can't read it anyway. It's just kind of the vibe of it. Because it's slightly out of focus anyway. But like, I want to put it farther away so the interference with the mic is less. But then it's more out of focus. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with a different solution, use an LCD monitor instead of the CRT eventually. Or something I've been thinking about is modifying a CRT, like finding one that's broken, doesn't work anymore, and I just basically put an LCD panel behind it. But that's just kind of fake analog at that point. It's not like, what's the point of rehousing a LCD monitor at that point? It would be cool though. That monitor is sweet. What's your ad revenue looking like right now? I'm gonna pull it up because I don't give a damn. I want to establish like transparency and everything, like the whole way through. I don't know why people shy away from numbers and all that. So like usually it's about $2 per 1,000 views. That's about what it comes out to. If the video is over 8 minutes, you get a bit, like the longer the video is, you get more because it can run ads throughout, which is why like some people make quite a bit of money per view per 1,000 views on like podcasts and longer form content. So generally, since mine is fairly short, it's not that great. It's like $2. The longer vids are a little better. Let's look at this most recent video. Right monitor. Ba-boom. So this is the most recent video. And the revenue, I think, is 2 days behind, but it's been kind of flat for the last day anyway. So, $13. So let's see what this comes out to. $3 per 1,000 views, which is not bad. When a video blows up, I don't know how interesting this is to all of you, but I like being transparent about it. So like, this is sick. This is the most any of my videos have ever made, because this one's quickly becoming my biggest video ever. It's probably going to be my first to cross 100K actually. But so this one's actually worse per 1,000 views. $2.50 per 1,000. So, but getting $200 off of a video is cool. Doesn't quite pay rent yet, but but it's nice. I am very grateful for that, and the AdSense is it's a nice little bonus. But the channel would need to be a lot bigger for me to like sustain myself on that. So Patreon, something like that down the road, will probably be how I can keep doing this full time before my savings dry up. But that's the ad revenue. I'd like to send you my motorbike. I don't know if it's possible to fix. I haven't messed around with motorbikes much, but I am interested actually. I don't know if you're joking or not, but I have nowhere to work on a motorbike right now. But down the road, there will be more car motor content in general. Actually, for this next phase of the channel, like, when I'm moving for like, there's this weird 4-month in between period before I move to the next place that I'm just going back and probably working out of my parents' garage for like 3 months. And I'm going to do some car content in there because it should be warming up here in the Midwest around that time. So some car content is coming. The outcomes of that video would be like a Banksy art in a few years. Which video are we talking about? The P.O. box idea? I hate the residue from painter's tape. If you leave it long enough, made a VR cable and extension cable go into my storage bin indefinitely. Oh, interesting. I know what you mean. A friend wants me to fix a $1,500 camera lens as a video. Super nervous about it. Yeah. It is tough to like fix other people's stuff. Like it's a much bigger responsibility. Like if I break my own thing, that's my own fault and that's fine. But like somebody else trusting you with something is a bit spooky. Devin, what's up? Hey, Evan, I'm cooking dinner for the family, but wanted to hop in and say congrats on doing so well with the channel. Love to see what you create. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it. The universal experience from the joy that comes with mounting your first shelf. It's like a gateway drug. Exactly. It's like, whoa, I just made something out of nothing. It's sick. Your artistic stories about technology and engineering kind of remind me of the channel Posey. Are you familiar with him? Yeah, Posey's sick. And he makes a lot of I think he makes all the music for his videos as well, which is really sick. So yeah, he's really cool. Any plans for Patreon? I'd like to kick in a few bucks a month to channels like yours. Not really worried about perks. Yeah, that's probably the plan, is like, because I think a lot of small one-man creator like businesses, when it's like one man operating it all, it's easy to like try to promise too much on a $20 donation. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Have some not ad revenue. Thank you. What was I talking about? Patreon. Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of small creators bog themselves down with Patreon by offering too much, and then you end up sacrificing the main channel. which I don't really want to do, like, even if it would mean more like patrons. Um, so I wouldn't be doing like bonus videos or anything, but like extra live streams as the channel keeps growing. Like live streams are, right now I'm reading every message that comes in, but like down the road that might not be the case. So like a patron only live stream could be cool. Definitely offering videos a week early and ad free, re-uploads. I think that would be cool. But yeah, I don't want to like overpromise. But yes, I'm planning on that. I'm trying to hold off on the Patreon pitch until I'm like really running low on money. Because I think it's more impactful, like, the more day one people there are, and the longer I wait to do it. But I really appreciate the willingness to pitch in. It will be coming in the next 6 months. Where was I? If I lived in the U.S., I would 100% send you my bike. Hell yeah, I appreciate it. I do want to do motorbike. I've never like had a motorcycle, but I want to do one because I live near Michigan. I spend time in Michigan. I got family up there. It's a beautiful, underrated state with all the lakes. And there's like this trail. I think you can even take cars on it. There's a trail that goes around like the whole thing, connecting state parks. And I think it would be such a cool concept at some point to like fix up an old motorbike, or even potentially rig up my car to do it and traverse Michigan and just kind of see the sights and go on an off-road adventure, maybe some repairs on the road as we go. I think that would be a really fun idea at some point when I've got a little more money. I think I spied some Volca synth in a video. Will we see a video about making music? Yeah, that's... I've been cutting through a lot of older projects that I had, like the Insta360 video. I did that project a while ago. The Rode mic repair I did a while ago. So I've been trying to like do the backlog so that I don't hold on to footage for too long and have it like not relevant anymore. And the only video right now that I have recorded that I haven't put out is about making music. I'm kind of struggling with the through line or the story for it. I just have a lot of clips of me making music for the videos. I also have footage of picking it up from Sweetwater. Actually, a really fun detail. Sweetwater, like the giant music retailer, their headquarters is in northern Indiana, where I'm from. So like I got to go, like we go there all the time. And so I picked up the synth from Sweetwater headquarters, which is really fun. So I have some footage from there too. So eventually there will be a video about producing on the synth. And I might wait a couple months on it and post it with like a full EP of the songs that I've made. Cause right now I have like 4, or I just did a 5th one in the last video. At the end of the last video, that's something I made. The rest of the video is not. That's from Kaifo, who is a very cool ambient artist. Go support his stuff. But yeah, I want to have like 8 to 10 tracks and drop it like as an EP of like ambient workspace music. And I think having that with the music production video would be sick. I really want to get some more synths so I can sync them up. But right now it's all with the one. Hey, I've been sending you lots of hearts from Austria. Love your stuff. You've become my favorite channel with your raw style and ruthless freedom and how you modify and treat your tools in space. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. You could offer a Discord role and a bunch of us would still subscribe to the Patreon for it just to support. So yes, yeah, that's something I have written up, and I've actually been drafting the perks tiers. Like I have it set up right now. It's just I haven't publicized the website yet. But yeah, that's one thing in there too, is I can put in a Discord role, which I don't know what that would be for, like maybe a private voice channel and an extra little channel or something. But that's another little thing I can offer that doesn't take too much time out of the production for the other videos. Because this is the biggest thing about it all, is like I don't want to sacrifice, because it is at the end of the day to support the main channel videos, and so I don't want to sacrifice too much time away from making those videos. But definitely offering them early, extra live streams, high quality downloads of the music, stuff like that. Hello, Evan. I'd like to stay on the stream, but my internet connection is outrageous right now. Gonna hop on, saving recording of it. If it will be, have a good one. Yep. I leave all of them public. So yeah, you can watch it later. I appreciate you being here though. You look like you should own a dirt bike. I mean this in the kindest of ways. Yes. As a Midwest boy, raised in a smallish town in northern Indiana, dirt bikes, fireworks, that's the culture. So yeah, I really should. There's some like cool Honda dirt bikes that are like also street legal, and I want one of those very badly. What's up, Evan? Love your videos. You're a huge inspiration to my videos, and you're hella talented, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sebastian, is there a video how you hooked up the TV to the internet? Digging the videos. I love making stuff cheaply. I hope you take this as a compliment, but you remind me of a Midwest Van Neistat. Hell yeah. That's basically what I'm doing. Midwest Van Neistat. The TV is hooked up just as a monitor, so it's not like its own computer. Like I can move, my streaming software. Look, there I am. Hello. So it's like literally just a third monitor. You can get these little HDMI to analog. I don't think my cable is long enough to show it, but HDMI to analog converter. They're like 50. Ooh, cool. It just flickered when I dropped it. But yeah, you can get those little converter boxes for like $15, something like that. Just run an HDMI in, run a AV out or whatever it's called, and into the TV, and it's a monitor. I do want to make a video at some point about the whole TV stack, because I need to fix this little sucker doesn't work. These two do. And I think that would be really cool. Eventually, once I figure out like sound deadening and how to make them not beep as much, make as much noise, because it drives me a little bit crazy, like having these on normally. It doesn't matter as much for the stream because I'm wearing headphones, but I would love to have these on like in the background of all the videos and just have ambient stuff playing on them. I think that would be kind of cool. So once I figure that out, I kind of want to rig all three of these with their own AV converters up to an entirely separate PC that just, or maybe a laptop or something, that just runs ambient stuff in the background. Like imagine one of those 24-hour fish tank streams just playing on this all the time. It'd be really funny in the background of the videos. Where was I? Experiments all day. I'm going to have to leave now, but thanks for the epic stream. Hell yeah, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Honestly, the Discord role doesn't need to do anything, at least not yet. It just gives us a way to support your content. Yeah, exactly. Having just done a shop upgrade, what do you think about when designing and using your space? I'm a big iterative design guy. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to how your brain works. Some people like to sketch it all out and be like, this is my perfect setup, and then build that exactly. I just kind of start putting stuff places. That's the way my brain works. And every once in a while, like, I like change. Like, I think this is actually the year that I've been in this spot is the longest that I've gone without moving this desk for the longest time. Like, even in the last place I lived, like, I would, if the desk is on this wall, I would move it to this wall just like after 6 months just to switch things up. And I like to experiment over time with the setup and be like, do I like, this desk being, originally when I built this second desk, this is a duplicate of this. It's literally a 4x8 of plywood cut down the middle. So it's 2x8 and 2x8. And I had this one scooted up all the way up to this desk. So it was like a big L formation. And then I moved it up against that wall. So it's always just like trying something, seeing how I like it ergonomics wise, and and just making tweaks along the way. I never actually like plan exactly what the layout is going to be. Did I answer the question? I don't know if I answered the question. What do you think about when designing and using space? What do I think about specifically? Stuff like when I'm working at this desk, like I like it to have a close proximity to the shelf wall. So like this parts tray being in hand's reach of me working here, so I don't have to get up to dive into that thing. Because honestly, out of this whole shelf wall, this cabinet probably does more work than everything else combined. It's like when I need a file, it's in here. When I need like a leather working awl, it's in here. When I need, I don't know, like those little labeling tapes I use sometimes is in there. Knives, screwdrivers, everything is in there. And so having that in close proximity to this is like one of the biggest things. But yeah, I don't know if I have any super poignant thoughts on that. Oh, and like all this stuff up here too. What's up, man? Finally starting my channel back up this year. Glad the algae served me your vids. I used to make vids as a kid too, and seeing your YouTube rebirth is definitely inspiring. Cheers. Hell yeah. Thank you. Yes, it's a fun thing. A lot of people, I was just talking to my buddy John about this the other day, actually, like our YouTube pursuits as kids. Like we were in middle school being like, oh, I'm planning out my weekly content. I've got 80 videos planned. Here's like this gaming stuff I'm going to do and my Nerf gun reviews. And it's like, we were doing that 10 years ago. And I think a lot of kids were, but it's fun to be able to like reconnect with that. Nice that you stream again. I really enjoy it. You really inspired me. I think I'll start making videos again. Hell yeah. Thank you. Yeah, streams every week. Thursdays, 6 p.m. for the moment, at least. It'll probably get rocky during the moving period in a few weeks. I might skip a week or something, or have to stream from the road, or just it's not going to be Thursday. I'm not sure. Hey, Evan, on that note, are you up for a collab of some sorts? I've produced lots of music about 10 years ago and then turned to other interests and taught myself piano over the last 2 years. Would you enjoy it if I sent you something and you can use it if you enjoy and it fits in somewhere? Drop you a link somewhere or send you something, just a show of my appreciation for your work. Hell yeah, absolutely. I was actually thinking about like in the video that I make about music, like asking for, it's part of the reason I made a music channel in the Discord actually, is like, I'm totally open to like having people send in kind of ambient music and being able to use that, I think would be fun. Just as a change of pace between the stuff I usually use and make myself. So yeah, definitely like send me an email, or if you're in the Discord, feel free to put it in the Discord or private message me there, or Instagram, whatever's your preference. Obligatory Instagram promo, by the way. I'm just experimenting with it right now. I know I talked about not using social media in my Pocket Cam video, and it's really something that I don't use a ton, but I'm experimenting with getting back on it just because I wish YouTube had a built-in messaging system like it did back in the OG days, but it's like it's hard for content creators to link because there's no way to reach out through YouTube. And so I feel like Instagram, because nobody, like, content creators don't send emails to each other that much. It's like, it's not as casual of a way to reach out. So it's like Instagram is a useful way to get in touch with other creators. Um, so I'm trying to have at least a small degree of presence there. And also it is just fun, like sharing random behind the scenes stuff. Like the whole time I was building this, I'm posting incremental stories about it, and it's kind of fun. Woodman is the name of a character in Hilda. He's also very chill. Interesting. I haven't heard of that. The TV would make it easy to make videos and not add a green screen like an 80s or 90s ad. Yeah, exactly. I've used it. I haven't done it in recent video. Oh, I did do it at the end of the Insta360 video, as I played Van's video on the TV. But I used to do that a lot, and I've been meaning to do it again in recent videos. Is like playing videos on the TV and filming that and using that. I would have done it on the last video for when I'm showing like the childhood footage and like the old footage of working on the movie set with John. I would have done that, but I was just kind of running up against the clock for the YouTube for the Tuesday uploads, so I didn't do that. But I usually play footage on the TV. I swear perfect setups never last. Exactly. Like what you're doing changes over time, and like the original concept for this desk that I'm at right now was like all the computer stuff on the left and a workspace on the right. Like in my older videos, you see me working here because this desk didn't exist yet. And that's why there's so much overhead lighting here. I can actually pull up a camera to show it, although it's a terrible, terrible mess right now. This has become, this side of the table has become the camera gear wasteland because I don't, this is an upcoming video actually, building an actual shelf for my camera lenses because I have not done that. And now it's just this graveyard of crap. Which camera is it? This one. Oh, that's something I could talk about in a minute. Yeah. Oh, the color grade is wonked. But you see, like, the computer stuff on this half and the camera stuff on that half. This used to be the workspace, but now it's not. How do I turn that off? Don't know why the color grade is screwed up there right now. My ISO is too low. It's always funny setting up the streams. I've said this before, but like when I'm setting up the stream around 5:30, 5 p.m., it's light outside, and then by the time I actually hit go live, it's dark outside. So it screws up all my ISOs and stuff. But yeah, this is a mess right now. So on the topic of a perfect workspace, never lasting, like this was supposed to be the workbench, and now it's just the camera lens graveyard. So need a more dedicated solution for that now. Studio tour, yes, eventually. Before I move out here, I will do kind of a tour of the whole apartment. Show kind of what I'm working with before I tear it all down and leave. Although admittedly it is kind of a mess. Not a terrible mess, but a chaotic one. I have a lot of stuff. Like this is a studio apartment, so like my kitchen is right there. This is the same room as the kitchen. So this is supposed to be the living room, and then there's like a tiny bedroom back there that I just use to store stuff. So it's just like a bunch of boxes of random stuff back there. But I will show it. And also the apartment building that I live in is really interesting. It's an old building, but I just don't want to like leak exactly what building I live in. But once I'm moving out, it won't be an issue, so I can show you the what it's all about. Modded Nerf gun review, let's go. Yeah, that's basically what I was doing. Those clips in the latest video, I think I'm holding a Nerf gun in one of them, in one of the clips that I used. But that's basically what I was doing as a kid, modding Nerf guns, painting them up. I still have a lot of those old ones too. Yeah, there's some good. I won't pull it up, but there's a funny Nerf gun review that I made when I was like 14. I remember being 12 or 13 and using YouTube for watching a monkey picking his butt or something dumb like that. Yeah, exactly. Watching Neon Cat. That's like the first stuff that I was watching on YouTube, and then like Rhett and Link is like some of the first YouTuber, like actual YouTubers outside of like meme clips I was watching. That was it back in the day. That was the talk of the town in middle school, right when they were starting. Yeah, I'm trying to think what I can say without doxing everything. But one of the earliest episodes in season 1 of Good Mythical Morning, you know how they used to have, I don't know how many of you actually watched Good Mythical Morning back in the day, but they used to like have a guest, like a fan would send in a video of them saying, "Let's talk about that" at the beginning of each episode as the tagline. And one of the ones in the first couple episodes of season 1 was somebody that was from my hometown, somebody that I knew. So that's kind of funny. Would you ever do a video with Colt Kerwin? Totally. If Colt's lurking in the chat right now, what's up? Let me stop by to the content closet sometime. I totally would, yeah. He's been very nice to me. He reached out on Instagram. Part of the reason I'm on Instagram again is because I realized like, oh, this is how people reach out. I should like actually publicly connect my Instagram with my YouTube so that people can do that. But yeah, he's been really nice. And I would love to, I'm planning on doing a New York City trip. I was already planning on it sometime this summer. I went there, oh man, time flies. It was August of 2022. There's a little vlog about it on my second channel of just all the craziness that we got up to. But we road tripped from Indiana all the way to New York City, stopped in Pittsburgh halfway, slept in was it a Cracker Barrel parking lot on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. We went to an abandoned atom smasher, like particle accelerator, which was trespassing, probably, or definitely. Spent some time in Pittsburgh, then went out to New York City, and I've been missing it since then. I've been looking for an excuse to go back, but I was busy all of 2023, and now that once I get a little bit ahead on videos and I've got time to travel to New York City and maybe make a video there, definitely doing that this summer sometime. New Van Video watch party. I already watched it. I watched it like 10 minutes after it came out. Also, I don't want to steal his content because I know people have mixed feelings on reaction videos and stuff. But his new video is one of his best in a while. I really enjoyed it. Another archive footage one. Very potent, very relevant to my experience as well. So yeah, it's a really good one. Go watch Van's newest video. Why are you leaving? Just job ended here. I moved to Cleveland for a job, and that company stopped being able to support employees basically in November, something like that. So I've been jobless for a couple months, taking the YouTube thing full time now. And so I'm just moving back to Indiana because I don't have a reason to be out here in Cleveland by myself anymore. So moving closer to friends and family who can help me film stuff and all that, and just closer to all the connections I already have. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about setting up the new studio, but not excited about having to move all this junk and keep up weekly videos between that. We'll see how it goes, but I ain't going to miss one, I swear. Tuesday uploads, no matter how crappy they are. I will have something out, even if it's 3 minutes about, I don't know, something random. I will make it work. In UK, we don't call it a mess. We call it lived in. About the apartment. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually not too bad of a mess. It's just like I have so much stuff. Like in my bedroom right now, there's like the engine cover for my car. I don't know why I kept that. What else is in there right now? I mean, I'm seeing about a 10-foot piece of 1x4. There's a ton of scrap wood in there. There's like a handful of cinder blocks. There's a filing cabinet. A bunch of boxes of like old film reels from my great aunt. Yeah, so it's just it's basically a storage unit back there is what my bedroom looks like. I always thought you had a studio. That's dope. It's your home. Yeah, no, I don't got money for that. No, yeah, it's a cool place though. Like the high ceilings, industrial windows, it's not a easy thing to come by on a budget. Usually places like this even here in the Midwest where things are cheap, like places like this are $1,200 to $1,500. This one is like $800, although they're raising it a lot because the area is improving. But it was cheap because the amenities suck. Like all the appliances are from 2002, and the area has historically not been the nicest. Actually, about 30 seconds before hitting go live, I heard gunshots out there. Either gunshots or a really tuned up car. I'm not sure which. Sometimes it's fireworks, but I didn't hear fireworks today. There's people doing burnouts up and down the street all the time. It's there's a reason the rent's cheap. Also, planes fly overhead all the time, which screws up voiceover occasionally because the airport's right. I'm right under the path of the airport as they're taking off. So in some ways I will miss this. I'll miss the big natural light, the super high ceilings, but in other ways it'll be nice to be back with friends and family and all that. Twitter's another way lots of content creators reach out, but at what cost? Yeah, who knows about the stability of Twitter. It's really interesting what they're doing right now. I don't know if it's going to work out, but what they're doing right now, almost trying to I don't think they'll follow through with it, but trying to set themselves up as like a YouTube competitor of like being able to upload ad-supported video. Oh, I just unplugged my headphones. Being able to upload ad-supported videos, like they're running trials with Mr. Beast right now, although all those numbers are juiced, so it's not even real, but it's in theory an interesting thing of like, if I uploaded my videos on Twitter, and then it's like the way that Twitter works as a social media is like, say when Colt Kerwin sees one of my videos and he likes it, then all of his, well, not all of it, but his followers might see in their feed, Colt Kerwin liked this video, and then it shows up in their feed. And so in some ways, like it has some of those social media aspects that YouTube is lacking, that would be really interesting for a video platform. We'll have to wait and see if it works out or if the company goes entirely bankrupt. But it would be cool if in a couple of years it's like a YouTube competitor that imagine if YouTube had direct messaging, and imagine if you could like follow your friends on YouTube and like share each other videos within the platform, even like maybe like people could retweet videos effectively so your friends could share stuff to all their circles. It's a really interesting idea. I don't know if it's actually going to pan out because, Twitter's loaded up with debt and is probably going to go out of business as soon as Elon stops bankrolling it, but we'll see. If it lives long enough to pressure YouTube into making certain changes, that would be sick. Well, I forgot Good Mythical Morning. Yeah, that was the shit back in the day. I lost my spot. Loved that back in the day. Remember that segment well. Yeah. Just found your channel about a week ago, and your channel is already one of my favorites. Each video feels so personal. I really relate to your content as a fellow filmmaker and crafty person. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. Lots more coming. Any big YouTubers you met? Also, is there any that disappointed you without mentioning names? Nah, I ain't that big yet. Or well, I mean, I guess I worked for a YouTuber for the past year, but that was my first into. I'm still, I'm a tiny little small fry in YouTube. Um, I've really only been taking it seriously for. I mean, I've been planning stuff for a couple of years now and attempting to like get better at talking to cameras and learning how to edit and stuff for a couple of years. But only like in the past 6 months am I like really giving it my full-time shot. So I haven't had much opportunity yet. But I've got one coming up with Miscast, who I need to reach out to again. This is actually probably going to be one of the next videos I'm doing a fairly simple one for next week, which I think will be the NES controller macro pad camera controller thing. And then the week after that, I want to do the injection molder video. So I'm making an injection molder, and then me and Miscast are going to go to Adepticon in Chicago, assuming that's still, I have to reach out and see if it's still happening. But late March, we'll be going to Adepticon, and I'm going to run the injection molder out of the back of my car, and we're going to make a bunch of little plastic minis, a bunch of little guys. That's going to be really fun. Excuse to go to Chicago as well, which will be fun, and my first like actual YouTube collab thing. But no, haven't really met anybody yet. Dude, I don't know whether to recommend or deter you from doing retro bicycle restoration stuff. It started a few months ago, and man, it's so expensive, time-consuming, and rewarding. Yeah, I have a buddy who's really into biking stuff. He's like actually like a competitive cyclist, and he's really good at it. He knows a lot about it, and it's really interesting, all the bike stuff. I don't know much about retro bikes, but I know about just through him some road racing stuff. That's really cool. Yeah, I have some ideas. There actually might be a bike video at some point. Come to NYC, let's collab. If you're in town tomorrow, you can meet Spike Lee. Nice. A handful of cinder blocks. There used to be more cinder blocks. I had 14 cinder blocks. It's kind of funny just saying that with no explanation. My little cinder block collection. Why did I have cinder blocks? I only have a couple now. Cinder blocks are nice for like propping things up. Like if you want to give your desk a quick 6-inch lift, you just put it on bricks or cinder blocks or something. They're sturdy as hell. What I originally used it for is when I was living in the cellar from like a really old video on this channel a couple of years ago now. I was living in a cellar of a building built in 1899, and it was quite cold sleeping on the foundation because I moved there in January in the Midwest, so it was very cold. And so what I did is I put up a bunch of, I didn't want to buy a bed frame, so I had a sheet of plywood or particle board, and I stuck it up on a bunch of cinder blocks to make like a bed frame. So that's why I had cinder blocks laying around. And I got rid of some of them, but now I have a handful, and I don't know what to do with them. It's funny because you can buy cinder blocks. Like you can just go to the store and buy cinder blocks for $3 or whatever they are. And then it's like, I have no idea how you're supposed to dispose of cinder blocks. Like, you can't just put that in the dumpster. I don't think so. Like, how do you get rid of cinder blocks? I don't know. Oh, and Tom Sachs, he's got a rocket thing tomorrow at his studio. Ooh, that would be sick to go see a Tom Sachs thing sometime. I would love to line up a New York City trip around that. Bergen's in the chat. What's up? The video was a metaphor for my life. Which one? My recent video? Thank you, Bergie. Digitize the film reels. Yes, I want to. I have a like video converter box where it's like it's a like thing with glass pieces and a mirror, and the idea is you stick the film into a projector, bounces it off the mirror, and then you can record it with a digital camera. So I have that box, I just don't have a projector. So I need to get like a 16 millimeter or an 8 millimeter film projector, which I've seen on Facebook Marketplace before for not too expensive. I think I can find one under $100. So I need to find one of those and then digitize all those old film reels because I don't know what's on them yet. We have some like home video ones from, I believe, my great grandfather. So that's really cool. And they were shot on the lens. Where did I put it? This lens that I've used in several videos now. All those home videos were shot on this lens, which is really cool. So it'll be fun at some point to digitize those. I also have right here a bunch of old film reels that are like just old movies and stuff. I don't know how long they are. I don't know how much you can fit on a little spool like that, but yeah, it's a bunch of little silly film reels, mostly like kids cartoons and stuff like that. So I want to be able to play those. I think that would be fun. One of them is, I posted this on my Insta story. It's like a little video of these baby bears like playing around, like actual footage, not animated cartoons. And these little bears are playing around. And apparently my great aunt, she would stick the film reel in and play it in reverse and watch the bears like unbreak things. Like they'd be pushing stuff over and then play it in reverse and you unbreak it, which is really funny because me and my buddies used to do the same thing with the VHSs. You would rewind the VHS and play something in reverse. We had one called Rodeo Bloopers, and it's these guys, doing the rodeo, trying to stay on the back of the bull, and we would play it in reverse, and they'd like be on the ground, and then they'd hop back up onto the bull. It was funny. That's a hell of a tangent, but one of the things on one of those film reels that I want to restore. $800, not bad. I own a trailer that I've been fixing up, and I just pay the land, $400 land rent and $80 to $150 utilities. Interesting. You just rent the land. I've been thinking about doing that actually. It's like instead of buying an old home, just buying a cheap plot of land somewhere and then fixing up like an old RV or something, living out of that, and then like building out a production studio out of a shipping container or something. So that way, like, instead of having to have a giant down payment for a house, I can just get my foot in the door by, like, buying a $10,000 plot of land outright and then, like, just slowly build it up. I think that would be really fun. That's what my grandparents did to start out, actually. I'm sure you will exponentially. Talking about growth, give it 6 months. Yeah, we're already growing pretty damn fast. 13K today, actually, which is crazy because I think 12K was yesterday or 2 days ago. So yeah, it's going a little crazy. The Insta360 video is looking to be on track as my first one to break 100K, which is crazy because the video about this one stopped at like 80 and it's been slowly trickling up. It's at like 92, 93 now. And I think still the video from last week is going to beat it to 100K, which is pretty cool to see. Big moment for the channel. Twitch is the only social media I have really. Their video stats account for if the video is scrolled past in a feed, though, so it massively overstates. Yeah, views wise, but it also gives for great reach. Yeah, it's like kind of like TikTok where it'll check it as a view, even if it's not. If somebody scrolls past it. Like Google Plus, it all comes full circle. Yes, exactly. Because like YouTube had social media features built in, then they added Google Plus and transitioned it all to that, but nobody wanted to like split off and use Google Plus. And so then they removed Google Plus, and so all the social media features are dead. And it's like, I wish they would bring that back. Just integrated, like don't add all the Google Plus bull crap, but like add in messaging and like make it a social media. I think that would be really cool. Chicago doesn't disappoint. Yeah, I love Chicago. I need to go there more often. That's where we would go all the time because I was grew up in northern Indiana, so like we would drive 45 minutes, an hour up to the station in South Bend, right around the river, and we would ride the train for an hour. And that was such a big freedom thing. Like when the first guy in the group got a car, then we would just go up there, take the train up into Chicago, and it was like you buy a $10 round trip. I don't know if it's that cheap anymore, but you buy a $10 round trip pass for the bus or for the train. It takes you up to Chicago. Then you buy a $10 day pass for the transit, which I think includes the buses and the trains. Chicago is one of the only places other than New York that has like decent transit in the U.S. And then we just take the trains all day, and it's like a $20 day trip, and you can go anywhere in Chicago. It's so much fun, and I would love to go back. Go into open source? Possibly. It depends on how big my channel is by then and whether or not I have the money or time to get out to San Francisco. I've never been out west out there, so it would be a lot of fun. I was tempted to like buy the early bird tickets since they're cheaper, but I think I'm just gonna wait, and I'll pay full price later if maybe a month or two before it happens. I'll evaluate if it makes. I would love to go. It's just like, is all the ticket cost is negligible compared to what it's going to cost to house to get a place to sleep out there. So, yeah, it just depends on if I have, $1,000 to throw at it at that point. If you know anyone with a Bamboo Lab or just 3D printer in general, you can use failed prints or the purge poop to make your minis with that injection molder machine you're going to make. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so you're talking about using 3D printer scraps as injection molding stuff. I think that would work, yeah. That would be an interesting idea. Getting rid of cinder blocks, you just leave them anywhere industrial. People won't question it. Exactly. Or like somebody with a farm, like put it out by a barn. Somebody's going to, not a random person, but, I have buddies with a farm and just leave cinder blocks there. Strecklomania, man, you have so much experience. Oh, that's the other guy in the chat. I see. I was like, what does that mean? How cool would it be 80 years from now, a great nephew or grandson finds your old SD cards and is trying to figure out how to watch it? Yeah, exactly. He's trying to figure out how to put it into this Apple Provision contact lens and watch it in VR. And he's like, how do these SD card things work? 100K is wild. Congrats. Yeah, thank you. South Bend is where I'm from. South Bend's cool. I was there fairly recently. Underrated town in the area, I think. It's pretty chill. That's a coincidence that when I get recommended channels, I see real growth in the analytics. Love from India. Thank you. Yeah. So nice. That was an hour. Wow, that flew by. I am going to pull up the Shelves video and do my little director's commentary on that. Just talk about some of the stuff that didn't get mentioned in the video, as we usually do on the channel. Methodical Maker, what's up? I had that problem a bit ago when I went back to my parents and was digitizing old photos. Some yearbook stuff was on CDs. I didn't have any electronics with a CD. Yeah, exactly. I had to get I don't have a CD drive actually right now either. I was thinking of I had to get a floppy disk drive to make that floppy disk video. But I'm sure you can get something similar, CD drive for $15 or something. I need one of those. I kind of want to burn a bunch of CDs. I don't know why. I just kind of like the vibe of that. What editing program do you use? Used to use Premiere. Now I'm on DaVinci. I like DaVinci more for color grading. Yeah, I'm on DaVinci now. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up, see if I can get the audio to work. Left monitor, HDMI to ba-boom. You can do selling cameras as a side hustle. True. I could try that. Fixing up lenses and reselling them, something like that. All right. Unmute the desktop audio. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go through this, and I'm going to talk about all the stuff that got cut out, I guess, and all the other details about it. I'm going to let this run for a second. I'm going to go use the bathroom, get a drink of water, but I'll be back in a second. This is right? My studio's shelf wall. It's not too loud. It's a mess of random materials, tools, and personal artifacts I've collected over the years. It's constructed mostly of scrap, various furniture found on the side of the road, or things pieced together. It constantly grows and changes. This week, it's all coming down. The next step of its evolution is a total rebuild. Basic 2x4 construction is one of my favorite things. Cut your boards, make sure they're lined up good enough, drill, drive screws. That's it. If you're not concerned about the way it looks, it's a very easy and forgiving medium. Very affordable too. I'm not building off of any specific plans here, just making decisions as I go. But the general idea is to segment off the wall into these sections that are stackable. Super basic frames and very overbuilt. When I'm building something exclusively for myself, I like this method of exploratory design. Instead of tallying up all the exact pieces of scrap wood I have laying around and figuring out the best possible orientation to put those things together into shelves, I like to just dive into it, start putting sticks together and see what ideas come out of it. The reason I'm diving into this project now is because I'm moving my whole studio in a few weeks. My rickety, stacked junk furniture shelving system is honestly a pain to move. I've had to tear it down and set it back up. Yo, we back. All right. Time for the behind the scenes. So, this is my studio's shelf wall. It's a mess of random materials, tools, and personal artifacts I've collected over the years. There's a little Lego man, the Stegosaurus, obviously the mini Tucson from the video. I have this old Serger sewing machine. I've been trying to get it up and running, but I haven't been doing much sewing projects recently. So honestly, this setup here kind of is mostly not stuff that I use too much. A lot of personal artifacts and stuff. The spray paint I use all the time. Acrylic paints occasionally. I mostly had those for like leatherworking stuff. You can paint leather, and so I use that to like restore old sneakers and stuff, and then leather dyes, fabric dyes. I used to dye a lot of my old clothes, which I haven't done recently because I've been doing the daily uniform thing, but got some Hot Wheels and stuff. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because you guys just watched all this. These shots, something I like about this video that's kind of a change of pace that I want to do more is like doing a project with a bigger subject means like you get a lot more wide shots of the studio, which usually you're kind of locked in over here. And I do like showing the wide shots of the whole thing. So I want to find more big, physically big projects to do instead of tinkering with tiny little camera gear things, which the injection molder video will definitely be like this as well. So I'm excited for that. Probably going to try to tackle that in the next, not this next video, but the week after that. Is one of my favorite things. Cut your boards, make sure they're lined up good enough, drill, drive screws. That's it. If you're not concerned about the way it looks, it's a very easy and forgiving medium. Yeah, honestly, this is the most fun I've had filming a video in a while. Not that I don't usually have fun. Like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. But, like, sticking 2x4s together is so zen. It's why this video is, like, shot pretty linear and minimal edits compared to what I usually do, is because, like, I honestly didn't want to be paying too much attention to the camera through this whole thing. I was just like, I'm just going to vibe out for 4 days and just make this thing. So usually I'm very intentional about what I'm shooting and the angles I get, but here I just kind of set up a nice angle and then just ran it, which ended up with me having 18 hours of footage. Usually I don't have that much, it's a handful of hours, but not 18 hours. So I had several, 2-hour long clips of me just drilling for this video, which is kind of fun. Very affordable too. I'm not building off of any specific plans here, just making decisions as I go. But the general idea is to segment off the wall into these sections that are stackable. Super basic frames and very overbuilt. When I'm building some... These are old, I think they're for siding or wood paneled walls. Because these are I didn't explicitly mention it in the voiceover, but there's these notches and these tap together. So you'll see me hammer them together. Something exclusively for myself. I like this method of exploratory design. Instead of... And they have these marks on them. I don't know what that was for. Maybe for front and back or something. But yeah, these came in clutch for a couple pieces of this project where I just stick them together and you can kind of make a board out of it. It's like pallet wood, but they actually stick together nicer. Tongue and groove planks. Yeah, that's what they're called. I'm not sure what they were for. I assume wood siding uses that kind of thing, or maybe even flooring. Yeah, these are probably flooring planks, really old flooring planks. But I got these and a lot of the scrap wood I have off of Facebook Marketplace, off of somebody, a very nice guy that was doing here in Cleveland, a house renovation. So he was tearing out a bunch of old stuff and a bunch of cabinets the previous owner had built in his garage and stuff. And so I took a lot of that stuff. That's where I got the metal shelves over there as well. Very nice people, and they let me take basically all of the wood that they'd torn out of the house. They just wanted it out of their driveway, so I was like, all right, filling up. So I got so much wood off of them. Facebook Marketplace comes in clutch. 1 week interval between uploading videos is nice. I can recommend a channel naming the Post-Apocalyptic Inventor if it helps refining machinery and metals. Okay, interesting. I'll check that out. Works as wall paneling. Yeah, that makes sense. Tallying up all the exact pieces of scrap wood I have laying around and figuring out the best possible orientation to put those things together into shelves. I like to just dive into it, start putting sticks together and see what ideas come out of it. The reason I'm diving into that flush cut tool is so helpful for things like that. This project now is because I'm moving my whole studio in a few weeks. My rickety stacked junk furniture shelving system is honestly a pain to move. I've had to tear it down and set it back up 3 times in the past 2 years. And with every iteration, it only gets bigger. Note the chrome paint. A lot of these boards, you'll notice, have chrome paint on them. It's dripping. That's from the sci-fi film set that we made. So that is evidence of their previous use and harder to manage. And so a sturdy framed segmented solution should make that a lot easier. After building this top section for spray paint storage, I realized the whole setup is taller than the ceilings at my next place. That was actually because I just read the wrong thing I had a rough plan of, I didn't know how I was going to fill out the shelves, but I had plans for at least the dimensions of the boxes so that I would know what pieces of wood I needed to cut. because obviously I'm not cutting all those 2x4s in this apartment. I did a stream a couple weeks ago where I cut these pieces of wood. So that was just me using the wrong pieces and not following the dimensions. I recently got one. It's a game changer, really loud, but can melt through plastic / 3D printing stuff without making a mess and throwing plastic. Can even cut aluminum really fast. Interesting. I've only been using the bit, or I don't know what the word is for it even. The bit, the head, I don't know. But the tool that's attached to it, I've only been using the one that came with it, but I want to get some other options too, because I know there's a lot of stuff those things can do. But yeah, for 3D prints, that's a solid tool. Do you know about mini disc format? I've heard of it. I've never used it myself. Or have I? No, I don't think I have. But I like a lot of those weird old formats. The nice thing about this construction method is that it's really easy to make changes on the fly. So far, I'm really liking how this is going. I really held off on getting the vibrating multi-tool because I thought it would be crappy at cutting stuff, but yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it. It just came in a bundle that I wanted, mostly for the circular saw, and the impact, because I only had a 12-volt impact at the time and I wanted a 20. But it's been an MVP. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. Plunge bit, if it's the one in the video. Yeah. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, so I set up these whole dimensions without knowing the ceiling height of the next place. And then I checked, and it was 7'7", I think. And this whole setup was 7'10". So I ended up moving these struts at the bottom, and these struts at the top to take them off. And now it's exactly 7'7". So we're just going to hope that it can squeeze into the next place because it's like exactly the same ceiling height. But I think once it sinks into the carpet a bit, I think it'll have enough clearance to go in. But like worst case, I tear this apart and take a 1/4 inch off one of these sticks. That's what I have. I picked up some proper Milwaukee ones, but the one it came with hasn't gotten dull enough for me to swap it yet. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't noticed it dulling out at all, which is kind of surprising now that I think about it. Love the DeWalt battery pack video. Thank you. That was the first one that I had that did over like a couple thousand views. I had my first workspace video did like 2,000, and then that one did like 8. So that was the first one that I was like, whoa, it's going crazy. One of the downsides to working with scrap wood is that a lot of the pieces are warped, but a simple wedge can fix that. There's not a lot of mistakes you can make on a construction like this that you can't fix fairly easily. So this is the same material that I use later on to make the backing for the paint cabinet. It was like a bottom shelf piece for the table that I was using. And I just pulled it off. It was just nailed in. I pulled it off and started cutting bits off of it to level. I think there was only 2 boards warped bad enough that I needed to correct it to get it to sit flat without wobbling. But like once I'm settled in the new place, I'm probably just going to get a bunch of 3.5 inch screws and just stick the whole thing together permanently, so that it's also like 2 degrees of stuck together, and then I can just pull those out when I need to take it apart to move again. As long as you don't injure yourself. Keep your fingers where they're supposed to be, away from blades and on your hands. I didn't use it in the video, but between this shot and this shot, you notice it changes colors. I was trying out this can here is a spray wood finish, which I had never used before, but I enjoy it a lot now. I'd only used like just regular brush on wood finish before, which is like, it does it. It's probably better quality, but it's so annoying to get in all the tiny little cracks and crevices and dealing with drips. And the spray stuff is so nice because you can just kind of spray it gets into all the little holes, and also it's like a feathered edge. So it's like if you miss a spot or don't coat a certain spot as thick, it's like you don't even notice. So spray wood finish. That's my new thing. I enjoy it a lot.
Here's the basic process I'm using.
But I only had the one can, and that's like an old, very old can. I had to soak the tip in acetone to get it to like fire again because it was clogged up. That's the only one I have here. I have a bunch more elsewhere that I need to grab. So I ran out halfway through, so I didn't mention it in the video. But most of them got some degree of coating
to make the frames of the shelves. The only part I knew ahead of time was the width, height, and depth of each section. I pre-cut all my boards to the final dimensions, with the exception of the height board being 3 inches shorter due to the corner overlaps.
Thrift shops are gem. We don't have that in our country. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, any kind of used retailer, so nice for finding random junk, or even like estate sales and stuff when that sort of thing happens, or garage sales.
Didn't know 2x4s are not actually 2 inches by 4 inches. They're about 1.5 by 3.5. I think the name comes from the size pre-milling, but I'm not sure.
I always, whenever I make a video like this, I'm imagining like an actual woodworker watching it, and I'm like, they're probably like, this kid has no idea what he's talking about. I meant to have a voiceover line somewhere in here about like, I would not call myself a woodworker. This is just me sticking 2x4s together. Like, woodworking is like actually like putting wood together in a really like intentional and well-designed way. Like, there's an art to it. I don't think I'm doing woodworking as an art here. Not that it's not an art in its own sense, but it's like I'm not doing the art of woodworking here. I'm just sticking 2x4s together and making something that stands.
Drilling a hole before sending in your screw gives you a little more consistency and control, and all.
Yo, I got a stupid question that I can't find the answer to anywhere. I know Micro Four Thirds and APS-C are different sensors, but my Micro Four Thirds lenses also have APS-C and APS-H written on them. My friend also wants to get an FX30, and I'm trying to set him up with good lenses, but APS-C mount lenses really literally don't seem like they exist at all. So it's like FX30 and FX3, FX3 is full frame, FX30 is APS-C, but they have the same mount. So E-mount lenses, they'll work on the APS-C. So if you have a full frame lens, it'll still work on APS-C. Micro Four Thirds lenses that have APS-C written on them, that just means that I think the image circle is big enough that it'll work on Micro Four Thirds or on APS-C. So you can get an adapter. Where is mine? I don't remember where I said it. But there's a simple little adapter that you can put Micro Four Thirds lenses on Sony E-mount. So that's a thing you can do. But yeah, with APS-C, you don't need to be concerned about image circle at all, because they make, they make Sony E-mount lenses for full frame. They make Sony E-mount lenses for APS-C, but both of them will work on an APS-C camera. So it works either way. I think the Sony APS-C lenses are called FE lenses. Sony FE. So it's the same mount. It just has a smaller image circle. Yeah, so if you look up Sony FE lenses, those will be designed for APS-C. So they're usually a bit smaller. That's the advantage to using APS-C lenses. But the mount is the same. Is APS-C just E-mount? Yes. APS-C is only the size of the sensor. I understand that's kind of confusing because Micro Four Thirds is the size of the sensor, but Micro Four Thirds is also its own mount. APS-C is the size of the sensor, but it can exist on any mount. So there's APS-C Canon cameras on RF mount. There's APS-C Sony cameras on E-mount. So yeah, it's a little confusing, but I think I explained the gist of it there. Same crop factor though, right? What do you mean? Yeah, an APS-C Sony camera and an APS-C Canon camera have the same crop factor basically. All APS-C lenses are, or all APS-C sensors are the same size, give or take a tiny bit. Micro Four Thirds is a tiny bit smaller than APS-C, but most Micro Four Thirds lenses will still cover the APS-C image circle, if that makes sense. Right. I use the Blackmagic 4K. Looking into getting a PL adapter. Is that something you would recommend? I was actually just looking at PL lenses earlier today, mostly because they look cool. I honestly don't know that it's necessary. I think there's some PL lenses that cover a full frame image circle. There's some that cover an APS-C image circle, which again, you can get away with either if you're using a small image sensor camera. PL mount is cool. The lenses are generally pretty big though and pretty expensive, but they're dope. Really want to get some CP3s. I don't know what those are, but yeah, I'm not super familiar with PL mount, but there's some cool cinema lenses on it. I mostly like adapting old Canon EF glass. That stuff is pretty cheap everywhere. They made a bunch of them, and it's nice stuff.
Also helps prevent splintering of the wood. I'm using,
or if you want autofocus, native Sony is best.
3-inch screws here, so after the first board, they'll tap about 1.5 inches into the next one.
Yeah, some more chrome paint on these 2x4s. Also, my AC kicked on. Hopefully you don't hear that too much.
Now, when dealing with warped boards, I like to do as much of the correction as I can in the framing process. Here's a good example. We've got 2 warped boards meeting at a corner, so it's very off. Again, pretty simple to get it fixed good enough. I just join the good corner first, then I pre-drill my holes on the bad corner only through the first board. Then I get my screws started in that board, and then send them all the way through while holding the joint in place.
Worth noting, this might not be the best way to... You can also kind of flip around the boards to try to find the spot where it's warped the least, but then your total thing might be more warped, so... It's the basic Cinema Carl Zeiss lens. Also, please put me on to good EFS lenses. I just bought an EFS to Micro Four Thirds. EFS is just EF lenses that are designed for APS-C coverage. So EFS to E is the same as FE or FE to E. So if you have an EFS to Micro Four Thirds adapter, you can use EFS glass or EF glass. Yeah, so a lot of EFS stuff, I'm not as familiar with the EFS stuff because they didn't make as many back then. APS-C wasn't as popular. So there's not that many EFS lenses. I would look at just regular EF. The kit 18 to 55 because everyone loves it. Yeah, I've got one of those actually. It's pretty solid. Gets the job done. This sucker.
Careful not to pinch myself when that gap closes.
See how there's the non-threaded part at the top of the screw? You want that to be longer than the top board thickness. Yeah, I know that's the general idea. I just didn't want to buy like really long screws. This is what I had laying around, honestly. But yeah, I know in theory that should be how it works. I don't think it matters as much for softwood, honestly, because it can rip through it so easily. You got the right ones there, but I thought I would shout it out in case you didn't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I break that rule a lot, but yes, that's good practice to follow. I also didn't mention in here that I'm using Torx bit, the star bits, which I love. I don't like flathead, don't like Phillips head. It's Torx bit all the way. The little hexagon stars. They also make square head screws. Those aren't too bad either. I love the 18 millimeter because of Micro Four Thirds. Thank you for the information. You saved my ass. Thank you. Yes, no problem. Watching the live stream for a first time, a change of pace in life. Hey, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Just watched your Tiny Cam mod video and really enjoyed it. Slapping the sub button and looking forward to seeing more shit, dog. Thank you.
On the second square in this set, I didn't run into any warping, but I did run into another issue. A split board. Sometimes even...
It was split before I sent that in, but sometimes you can split it yourself too, but not usually with pre-drilling.
And with pre-drilling, it just happens. I'm going to carefully send the screw deeper to open...
This also might be a bad tip. I don't know exactly. I'm waiting for this video to hit the woodworkers, and then I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments about like, oh, that's bad. This is why I said in the video, this is my process. I did not say this is the process. 18 to 55 are readily available and cheap. Yeah. I don't even remember where I got mine. I think it was like $35 on eBay. Really wanted to thank you for the content. I'm new here and your channel feels like a lost gem. The building ideas and filming style are having such a good warm charm that YouTube's been missing for a while. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're only just getting started. There's a lot more to come.
In the gap and then fill that with wood glue. Once I feel I've applied enough, I can pull the screw back out a bit again and everything comes back together. I'll also clamp it to make sure I'm getting the nicest joint possible. While that sets, I'm going to work on sticking the two.
Van Neistat just posted a video. Are you the one he's referring to? Oh, in the Patreon segment? No. I was like, that could be me though. But it was not. No, it was not me. Torque screw doesn't round off easily when using impact. Yeah. That's why I love them. Like I almost never get a screw skipping with Torx. It's just the best. Hello. How long was I gone? That's unfortunate. I don't know how I did that, but anyway, I was talking about where did I get cut off? I was answering the question of how do you get your ideas. I was saying 30 seconds or so. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Sorry about that. I'll re-answer the question. Evan, how do you get your ideas? I think Van was talking, Van Neistat, if you haven't watched this video today, go check it out. He was talking in his video today about how he struggles with coming up with ideas sometimes. And I feel like that partially comes with, cause he's been doing it for so long that like, he's got a lot of this stuff figured out. He's got his studio set up. Like he's got it figured out. I do not. Right. So it's like a lot of the ideas spawn out of just necessity in that, like, I haven't been doing this kind of thing for that long. Like all of this is kind of a house of cards that's just jumbled on top of it. Like this was a big step for me, redoing this whole setup, that I've been wanting to do for a while. So it's like, I don't have trouble with not having ideas because there's so much around me that needs to be fixed. It's like I have some stuff set up right now, you know, I'm on like realistically, I'm on like year 3 of this journey right now. And sometimes I wish I'd started documenting well, I've been documenting a lot, but I wish I'd been posting videos earlier so that it could, like, the story could actually go from like 0 to where it is now to wherever it goes. But like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm going to be living like this, doing weird workshop stuff for like 60 years, and I'm on like year 3. So it's like, I'm so early in the process. There's so much to do of setting up stuff and getting my tools right, getting my workspace right, that there's no shortage of content, because like I can look at anything in this studio and be like, let me make a video about that, because everything's broken, you know? When I committed to weekly content, I was like a little worried, like how quickly am I going to run out of ideas? And then I just made a short list on like a Google Doc, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to dump out all the stuff that needs fixing that could also be a full-fledged video of its own, or, you know, projects I want to try. It's not all fixing stuff. But, you know, stuff I want to build, stuff I want to fix, stuff I want to talk about. And it was like 37 videos right off the bat. And I'm like, well, that's 9 months right there. So we're good. So yeah, it's just all the ideas are built out of necessity. Which is, I guess, unique to the kind of content that I'm making in some ways. It's like, it's all real projects that I'm going to use for the most part. It would be different if I were doing like, you know, William Osmond style content, or like Emily the Engineer, like other channels that I have a crossover audience with. Like they have to come up with like funny YouTube ideas that are maybe going to reach a bigger audience, but it's not like, they're like ideas for almost like comedy bits, like having a gun that shoots bees or something. I'm not making that kind of video. So the ideas just happen based on what I need. Van is my absolute favorite. Yes, he's one of my favorites too. Made it to the last part of the stream. What's up, Scotty? YouTube channel of a 60-year-old doing projects is Essential Craftsman. Yeah, Essential Craftsman. I don't think I've seen his. I know the Craftsman, Steady Craftin'. He's one of my favorites. Who's your inspiration? I mean, Casey and Van, obviously, right? I was talking about it a bit earlier. I won't do the whole spiel again, but yeah, no. Definitely Casey. Seeing his vlogs when I was in high school was just like whole new world. Essential Craftsman channel is great. He's pure wisdom and experience. Awesome teacher. Oh, wait. I think I know who you're talking about. Essential Craftsman. Is this the guy I'm thinking of? Yes. No. Yeah, I've seen this guy. I've seen him. Yeah, he's cool.
Squares together.
Back to the video.
This project is extra special to me because the 2x4s I'm using actually have a history of their own. They're scraps from a set I designed a few years ago for my buddy John's movie. It isn't out yet, so I'm only showing clips from early screen tests, but a lot of good memories were made.
Yeah, the set is like half baked in this segment. It's just like we were kind of setting up the walls, getting a feel for the size of the this particular set. But these are the boards. The ones that were used on this set were the boards that my shelf is now made of, which is really cool. But yeah, like all these doors and sections here, this unpainted stuff. All of these walls are just bare, but they get fully dressed up with set stuff later. This was an very early screen test, but this project will be very cool, and I'll have a whole dedicated like mini doc about its creation whenever it comes out. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's going to be a weird time capsule when the movie comes out, because like when we were doing this, I didn't even know how to run cameras that much. Like the only part I was playing in it was like designing sets and stuff. And at some point, so this is John, he directed the thing and he wrote the whole thing. This is Michael. He's been on the channel before. He was running cameras, and like both of us were very early in our camera journey at that point. So we were like just using GH5s for the first time, trying to figure stuff out. And it was like So, maybe some of the scenes were not shot or lit very well, but it'll be a really fun kind of time capsule when it comes out, and just to see like all the hard work we put in so early and seeing that all come together. And I'm just really happy that I was able to use those scrap wood bits on that set. Are you going to stop liking me once I start clickbaiting the hell out of my videos?
Oh, 100%. If you do it ironically, I will still.
So it's that line was because we were talking about Casey Neistat. Now he kind of clickbaits some of his vlogs sometimes. This was a couple of years ago. I wasn't even like seriously doing YouTube at that point. I was just like, I was half joking because I knew I was going to do YouTube at some point, and I was like, are you guys going to stop liking me when I do clickbait? Which, I haven't done that yet, really. But I just felt like including that because it's kind of a cool thing to see years later of like, that's me joking about when I start YouTube later, and now I'm actually doing it. Pretty special full circle moment to be able to use the 2x4s from that set years later on my new setup. Talking through messages through live stream in evening feels like bonfire. My design for the stacking shelves is to have them sort of interlock to keep each other in place. The braces at the bottom of each section are closer to the center so they can so I painted these. I didn't explicitly mention it in the voiceover, but I painted these 2 different colors so you can see like what's going on with the joints between the braces at the top of the lower section. Once they're done, I could screw the sections together to semi-permanently join them, but honestly, even without it, the joint feels pretty sturdy. I was still letting the wood glue dry at this point. I was getting impatient and just kind of finished off the frames. I was like, I don't care. With the last of the new shelf frames built, it was time to actually tear down the old setup to make room for the new one. Originally, I have boards cut to do a 3rd stack of these actually. So there's another whole 2-foot section that was going to replace this shelf over here. But I ended up not including that in this video. I'll tackle that later. This part of the process is going to feel bittersweet, but something I have been looking forward to. In some ways it's just a shelf, but in other ways it's the end of an era. This setup isn't just a place to store materials and tools, it's also kind of my muse. Putting myself in an environment like this that feels overwhelmingly creative, it fuels my fire, it helps me keep going. I don't know why I chose to leave that shot in, but I kind of like it because I'm recording over HDMI. Usually, I didn't mean to restart it. Usually when you're recording and you take the lens off during recording on an electronic lens mount camera, it'll stop recording. But in this case, it didn't because I'm recording over HDMI. So it's like I'm pulling the lens off. Putting myself in an environment like this that feels overwhelmingly creative, it fuels my fire. It helps me keep going. Some of the stuff in this setup doesn't have any utility at all. That's a 70-year-old fan with a Ford Transit badge on. That shot also wasn't intentional. That was just me putting the lens back on and then just power zooming it for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but then I was like, screw it, I'll voice over that because I kind of needed, it filled a hole that I needed at that section of the video on it. Up top, I had some floppy disks and truck bed liner for my car. These spray paint racks were actually film. Where did I put the floppy disk camera? Oh, it's in the middle now. But it was up top there, which I thought was kind of cool because that's where I left it at the end of the floppy disk camera video. And I kind of liked that it stayed there the whole time because the final shot of the floppy disk video, it's up there and it stays there through all the other videos until now. For my car. These spray paint racks. I wish I had a space to do whatever I wanted with. I get you, brother. For the longest time, I grew up sharing a bedroom with my 3 brothers. Never had a spot or my 3 brothers. I'm one of the 3. 2 brothers. Never really had a space to explore making stuff on my own. Then I went to college, shared dorm room. I kind of set up a little of my own stuff in my corner, but didn't really have much room. I never had a space of my own entirely until second year of college. I paid a bit extra to, it's like, it's so stupid because like the room and board for the college is like freaking $10,000 or something. But then you can pay an extra $500 per semester. So an extra $1,000 over the year, and you get a room to yourself. So I was like, okay, if I'm already paying $10,000, why would I not pay an extra $500 to have double the space? So I did that, and I had the space to myself. And then COVID shut everything down. So the first time I actually had a room to myself, it was still a connected bathroom too, so it wasn't like that, like sound deadened or anything. The first time I had a place set up to myself, it got shut down in like 6 months because of COVID. And then I moved back to my parents' place, kind of made a space for myself in the basement. And then I moved out on a whim to a cellar built in 1899, the basement of my friend's house, because I just wanted so badly to have my own space that I could call my own. That cellar was 3 inches shorter than me, so I had to duck when I was walking through it. So this current space has been a long time coming. So I feel your pain, brother, having your own space to set up and do whatever you want with. Yeah, kind of, it'll come. And even today, you know, I don't even have a bed. I haven't had a bed since high school. I roll out a mat and sleep on that, because I value the extra square footage that much that like, I don't want to take up half of my space with a bed. So I'll use a rollout mat just to like buy myself a little extra space to work in. So yeah, that's the struggle of trying to do it all on a small budget. What can you say about the new video of Casey? Which one? Oh, the running one. Yes, that one was so good. Or the new van video that Casey was in. Both were very good. I think both of them had big hitters this last week. Van's video today, one of his best in a while. Casey's video last week, one of his best in a while. Very inspiring stuff. My uni room to myself is like 4,000 pounds, but they would fine me for doing anything with it. Yeah, the struggles of rentals as well. I feel that to some degree in this place. Is like, none of this is hard mounted to the walls. This is all renter friendly. But yes, I get you. One day I really want to own something someday so I can mount stuff straight into the studs of the walls and all that. That's the dream. Home ownership.
These were actually film lens boxes that I bought from a camera store. My paint shelf was originally a...
Do you like motorbikes? We were talking about it a bit earlier. I've never owned one, but I would like to. Building a foldable bed would be a cool bit. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Something that comes down from the wall. I might do that in the next place. Next project is a Murphy bed. Is that the same thing, having it up on the wall? I'm not familiar with the term. Hypothetically, if you did not use your given name for a channel name, how would you go about deciding on a channel name? It feels like a nearly permanent decision. Yes, in some ways it is. I mean, you could rebrand, but like, I think a rebrand is less scary than people think. Like, if I rebranded today, it's still relatively early in the channel, and like the people that know me for what I do, I think they would still like, probably half the people that subscribe to my channel couldn't say my name off the top of their head. They're just like, oh, it's the guy, it's Woodman. So it's scary, but I don't know that it matters as much. I mean, it's definitely a detriment to change it, but you can get away with it. How would I go about choosing a channel name? So I ran a business before this whole thing, in like high school, and there was like social media stuff attached to that. And I did it under a moniker that was like derived from my Dungeons and Dragons character name. And I eventually regretted that because it was like, it wasn't a bad name, but it was like, first letter was I, And so capitalizing it, people would read it as an L, and leaving it lowercase looked weird, and some platforms wouldn't let you do that. And so it was like, I eventually wanted to change that, but I didn't feel like I could. So that was part of the reason that on this whole thing I'm building, I just used my full name, because I didn't want to ever have to like rebrand it if I didn't like it. Because now it's like, now that my real name is attached to it, it is what it is. But yeah, going about choosing a name is tough. I don't know that I have any tips. I like using my real name, but if it's a different kind of content, if you're doing gaming videos or something, I don't know that people do that. Well, I guess like Ludwig, right? Ludwig uses his real name as a branding thing, but he's got a unique name anyway. But most people have a gamer tag or something. I don't know. I don't have super developed thoughts on coming up with a name. How's it going? What's up? Has Van Neistat noticed you already? No, I don't think so. I don't know that he watches that much YouTube. He doesn't even like respond to his own comments and stuff. I've thought about like messaging him on Patreon or something, but I don't really want to yet. It's one of those like meet your idol weird things. I feel like the current meta on YouTube is to use your name, like Alan Pan rebranded from Sufficiently Advanced to just his name. I didn't remember that he was Sufficiently Advanced. That's interesting. Yeah, it depends on the genre, definitely. Like what I'm doing, I think it would have been a mistake to call my channel anything else. But like, I think specifically for gaming, it's kind of tough. But if you're doing any sort of business or maker related stuff, I think just use your name. Stream is still online. I got away from the internet dead zone. Hello again. What's up?
Shoe rack I built out of PVC and scrap wood in the first video on my channel. The central shelf was actually the desktopper in my childhood bedroom.
Yeah, that first video. That wasn't the first video on the channel, but it's the first one that's still public. This channel actually was a channel for that other business originally. And so I had to rebrand it. And I think it hurt my algorithm for a while, because the algorithm thought I was like a Photoshop tutorial channel, and I was not. So it confused the algorithm. I should have started a new channel instead of completely switching up the content. But, we're here now, so.
Room where I spent a lot of time not doing homework and making YouTube videos on my iPod Nano.
The Nerf gun reviews.
I'd like to incorporate.
That gun was sick. The Pyragon. That's what it was called. They launched the discs. That thing was dope. And this was filmed on my iPod Nano. I want to get the Nano back out again and film something
In some way. This TV cabinet I picked up.
Is it Casey Neistat you were talking about? I can't see the corner of the message. Is it Casey Neistat you were talking that you get to know in high school? Am I missing a word there? Yeah, I started watching him in high school, definitely, yeah. Whenever the vlogs took off. What was that, 2016, something like that? Oops, pressed the wrong button.
For free while I was living in the cellar of my friend's house, chasing the YouTube dream.
That's kind of a funny parallel. I have footage of me taking down the shelf wall in the cellar with footage of me taking down the same shelf wall here.
I never liked this thing. Not space efficient, very heavy, poor materials, and
this was fun to tear apart. This whole shot was out of focus, so I didn't use much of it, but I was taking it apart with this hammer, which was pretty fun. There was a clip of that on my Instagram of just slamming it apart. It's like so poorly built with this like the super cheap particle board that like instead of unscrewing it, I just hit it with a hammer and everything fell apart. I think that was Good Mythical Morning. I don't know. I missed it. The delay. I don't remember what we're talking about. Hey, I can't believe you're still on. I'm finally back. Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your answer. It's helpful to hear your input. Repair/making is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, if you're comfortable with it, and if you're planning on, even if you're not planning on using your face, I think use your name. I think it's just better now. There's so many channels with like, I don't know, so many channels that kind of sound the same. Not that your name is any different. Like, it's kind of hard to remember people's names as well, but it's like, what's the difference between stuff made here and I did a thing and I don't know. There's a bunch of channels like that have very similar names that make pretty different content, and they're like good channels, but like it's tough. Like, I think trying to come up with a clever name might be a mistake compared to just using your name and owning it. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. They can chuck wood, right? I mean, kinda. Depends on your definition of chuck. I feel that when I see a channel with a name, I know it's a person, where there's a lot of branded channels that are just AI voice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if it's a person's name, like there's already a touch point there. There's a piece of authenticity, build quality. But I don't know. You can get away with whatever you want. End of the day, I don't know that the channel name matters that much at all.
I'm keeping some useful hardware off of it, though. This whole section over here is a bit of a mess. The thrifted video lights, parts tray, wiring, drill bits. I'm excited to be able to hard mount this stuff instead of having it precariously stacked. The metal drawers, although...
There's a parking sign back there that I ended up using to back the whole shelf. I don't think I mentioned that in the voiceover, but you'll see it in a second.
Very heavy are one of the most useful sections of this whole wall.
I should not have tried to move that with everything in it. I mean, it turned out fine, but that sucker is heavy. It's just loaded up with like sockets and drill bits, and it is not a pleasant lift.
That's definitely staying. The table it was sitting on, though, not very space efficient. The shelf doesn't even store anything. This was a sewing machine table from a machine I repaired very early in this channel.
Some inside baseball stuff that nobody cares about except for me. This is the single long... I usually cut so quickly, even though the voiceover is paced pretty slow. But this is, I believe, the longest uninterrupted shot in a video on my channel.
The metal drawers, although very heavy, are one of the most useful sections of this whole wall. That's definitely staying. The table it was sitting on, though, not very space efficient. The shelf doesn't even store anything. This was a sewing machine table from a machine I repaired very early in this channel. It's good.
It just happened that what I was doing lined up with the voiceover well enough that I didn't have to cut anything. But yeah, that was like 20 seconds. Never leave a shot that I never do that, but I did there.
Wood, I'm not getting rid of it, but it needs to find a new.
I don't know why the quality on this shot is so bad. It was like out of focus. I'm figuring out this camera. Not sure. Why did you build the shelves now instead of after the move? Seems easier to dispose of the old storage when you move and build new shelves at the next studio. See, yeah, the original idea was that all of this stuff is a jumbled mess, and to move it the way it was, I would have to take everything off, move the shelves separately. That was the idea. But then I guess in the end, these things are heavy anyway, so it's like I still have to take some stuff off. But it's like the main thing is like, say this center section, I could lift that, I think, fairly easily. I'd probably take the books off, but like as for all the paint and tiny stuff on it, I can just saran wrap the whole thing and then move it as a section, instead of having to have like a separate box and moving the shelf, because that shelf was so rickety it would like fall apart if I tried to move it with stuff on it. So that's the idea behind it. But like realistically, for like the spray paint shelves, 100 cans of spray paint is so heavy. Like I'd probably have to take them off anyway. So after building it and looking at it in real life and realizing how heavy these things are, I probably should have built it after. But I just wanted to tear apart that cabinet mainly. But yes, you have a point. Originally, like the video concept was more like modular storage shelf solution thing, something titled like that. But then I ended up not going that route because I realized it wasn't as practical. Saran wrapping the shelves is smart. Yeah. That's the plan. Like for this top section, I can get away with it. For this, I can get away with it. For this section, I usually pull out all the drawers so it's not as heavy and move the stacks of drawers separately. But like, yeah, for the spray paint, I'll have to take them off. I like the calm approach of voiceover, makes it more quality than AI voiceover. Yeah, AI voiceover is not it.
Use case. With everything moved out, now comes the really fun part. Deciding how I want to put things in these new frames. The easiest part is putting back the metal drawers. No additional modifications needed. Then comes the center section. I want to try to find a way to reuse this desktopper. The first step is completing the floor on this unit. I cut down a scrap 2x6 to fill the gap. The blue wood came from some old furniture a local bar was throwing away. They were also getting rid of a bathtub. I didn't take the bathtub.
Yeah, there's a really good picture from like a year ago of one of the guys in our group sitting in this bathtub with a bunch of blue scrap wood next to it. And that picture goes hard as hell. And I ended up going back the next day. We were out at the bars that night, and I was like, that's some good scrap wood in that bathtub. Which sounds gross. It was not. It was like clean stuff. It was not like moldy or gross or anything. It was... You do have to be careful about that sometimes when you're like taking pallets. If they've been out in the rain, like they can be moldy, and you don't want to be sanding moldy wood. But this stuff was solid. There was some like metal hinges and stuff that came with it too. That was pretty nice. It was actually a gay bar, which is, yeah, it's funny. I don't know what, I'm trying to remember like what it was. It was like this weird structure made out of these blue 2x6s. I think it was like a little cabinet. But anyway, so that's the gay bar wood. I like the history of it. And there's a funny picture attached to it that I do not have right now. But Chase, you probably remember it. I don't know if you were there that night or if you were still in Bloomington at that point. But do you remember the bathtub? If you're still here, Chase. Part of the reason I love working with scrap wood is so much of it is like, there's such fun stories attached to all of it and history and stuff. So I've had that laying around for almost a year, just waiting for a good use for it. If I had planned better, I would not have wanted to, because I had to cut the 2x6s into like a 5-inch segment. And I think 2x6 is like 5.5 inch across. So I had to take a 1/2 inch off of it, which was kind of annoying. If I had planned better, I would have just made it so that I could fit that without having to cut it down. But, you know, that's what I get for for not fully designing ahead of time. Are you happy with how it turned out? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these things are sick. I am just very happy to have like a sturdy, robust thing. Scotty, still haven't built my drone workbench. About to post the size of the space in the Discord and let everyone contribute to the build. Hell yeah. Yeah, do it. Do you write the voiceover ahead of time, rough notes, or just wing it? I generally wing it, just because like it's based off of the footage that I have, and so I just kind of write it as I go. I used to write everything, like from start to finish. I would write the whole video, but I had to figure out a way to like do it quicker. And honestly, I think it's better when I don't write it all ahead of time anyway, because sometimes the mood shifts from like what it was planned to be, and the message shifts as like, you know, the project takes turns. And so I like the process better now, not writing.
I decided to take off the ends of the desktopper to use it as the centerpiece of the new shelves. I feel like one day this thing is going to end up like the ship of Theseus with none of its original parts remaining.
Yeah, so originally this was a whole desk. Then the desk got thrown away and I kept the topper. It had like a drawer on this section, or a folding door. And I took the door off. So that went away. Then there's pieces on each side. I put in these scrap wood bits, so that's not original. The pieces on the side are gone now. So now the only pieces that are original is this T and this bit, which I'll probably replace this bit too soon because it's kind of falling apart. So soon there will only be 2 pieces remaining of the original desk. So it's going full ship of Theseus mode. Would you ever consider creating a group on Instagram for those of us who don't have Discord? Maybe. I don't know as much about, like, I guess I could just make a group chat, but there's so much stuff I can do on Discord that I can't do on Instagram. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
But I'm happy that its soul is still a part of my YouTube set. I've been filming myself in front of that stupid particle board since I was like 14.
Yeah, more Nerf
After
gun
filling the
reviews.
shelf back up with various paints, dyes, film reels, and books, it's feeling like home.
So these are like the little film movies that I was talking about earlier. I think these are 8mm film rolls. Yeah, so this is a little cartoon, home movies, camera magic. I don't know what that one is. So I want to play these eventually. I also have a Monopoly from 1950 something. Very old. Also very old playing cards. Just some random fun stuff. An old Porsche Hot Wheel that got crushed. I think I found that in an abandoned building. Little figure from a guy, Dr. Doomtone. He's cool. Little duck from Quackalope, my previous job. All sorts of fun stuff. Floppy disk. I want this to become like the little museum of various artifacts from my project. So I'll get the candles out there eventually and have like just the Tucson, the mini Tucson, the floppy disk camera, just random little artifacts. This is a speed gun from a Hot Wheel. It's a Hot Wheels branded speed gun. We would use that to see how fast we were going on our bikes down the hill. That was pretty cool. I want to use it as a prop for something, like a little sci-fi gun or something, but it's cool to have around. Come to the Discord. Just join the Discord. Discord is more versatile for a group. Yeah, Discord is really solid. It's not, like, you don't have too much to learn, like, on the platform. It's pretty self-explanatory if you want to join. And it's just it's a cool hub of a lot of people. And yeah, I just don't know how to manage, like, can you do a public Instagram group chat that, like, people can join through a link? I don't know if that's a thing.
Again. Next up is the spray paint shelf. I'm going to put this backing on it so I don't accidentally push.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Those little notches that are cut out of it are what I used for spacers to level the warped boards.
Cans out the back. This piece was harvested from the table I was using to frame the shelves earlier. A nice side effect of this project is that I'm blowing through my scrap wood reserves. Less stuff to move in a few weeks. After piecing together a second platform and filling in the floor, the spray paint section was done.
All the green goop on the back there was from I was testing the night before. I was mixing up some paints and trying to get something to work. So I made a little spray bottle of green paint and I was testing it on that.
Adding back in my little lights brings a lot of life into the setup.
Okay, so this is the new music that I made. Everything before that was Kaifo, who's a repeat. I use him a lot. He's a very nice guy and very good ambient music. Check him out. Buy his Bandcamp stuff. This is now the song that I made for this one, which I actually haven't listened to back since finishing the video, so we'll see if I think it's actually good. Because I was in such a flurry to finish this video. It was like a sprint. Not that I don't feel like it's half-baked at all, but I I was just nonstop for like the last 8 hours of Tuesday just working on it. And so I haven't really had a chance to go back and like assess, like think on it.
These can finally get hard mounted now instead of sitting precariously.
I'm psyched about
I'm also
that.
adding a new light I had laying around. Should add a nice bit of pop.
You can do a kind of documentary by exploring abandoned buildings as content. I would like to. It's actually on the short list. There's an abandoned building in my hometown that I would like to do something on. I'm not sure what it would be, but like they have it planned for demolition, and I want to do a little piece on like just Midwest Rust Belt kind of like auto industry going away, just the kind of vibe of those terrains, especially like, you know, growing up in the Midwest around some abandoned buildings, and like also like visiting Chicago a lot, coming through Gary on the train. Gary, Indiana, if you don't know, is like South Chicago. That is very very abandoned. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing that I would like to cover. I just haven't figured out the through line story yet. Stop in Gary, the abandoned bank vault is sick. I haven't been to that one, but I've been to some stuff in Gary. It's a little spooky sometimes, but you got to know what you're doing. Well, I guess we were dumb and we went at night. I haven't been to Gary in the day, which would be fun. I want to go there again soon, but I went to that big high school in the center of the town. That's a really cool building. All sorts of crazy stuff in there. I've got a couple artifacts out of there. I'll drop my photos on the Discord. I'll be there in a month or so for some drone stuff. Ooh, sick. Huh. Cool. Yeah, Gary's cool.
One day I'll build a new parts tray that isn't this crappy plastic one.
I might do that like in the next couple weeks, this parts tray video.
I added a little lamp for
I don't know if there's enough there for a full thing though, but we'll see.
the metal cabinet too. Underneath I added a new platform for a bit of extra storage.
So this is more of this stuff, the groove and stem or whatever it was called. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the boards that can hammer in together.
This is new real estate for me, so maybe I'll make changes later on as I discover the use case for it. The final step for this whole setup is adding these little face platforms. Always nice to have more little places to set things down when you're working on a chaotic project.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest like unanticipated things of this whole project was like I knew I wanted kind of a stepped structure, just so there's less risk of it like tipping over forward. Not that that would be a thing anyway, but like I also don't need my shelves to be that deep. Like say for spray paint, I don't want it to be like 6 cans back, you know? So I want the shelves to be relatively shallow, but at the bottom, I would like them to be pretty thick for stability. So I sort of made this step structure, and the unintended consequence of that was having these tiny little tabletops that I'm actually really enjoying for setting down, you know, my drills and stuff like that. What is this Discord we're talking about? Link is in the description of the stream and all the videos. We've got a little community Discord that's got all kinds of fun people in it. Cool community makers and stuff. It's been really cool. We got, what do we have? How many people are in it now? Like 400 something. Quite a few people in here. So, yeah, it's a cool, really cool spot. There's all sorts of different channels for photography, 3D printing, music, cars, wood and tools, all that stuff. So hop in if you're interested in, you know, having some other creative people to bounce ideas off of and all that. I would not recommend going in abandoned buildings at night. Yeah, we were dumb. It's high school. I do not advocate for that. I should have said that up front. Yeah, we were dumb. It's Midwest boys doing Midwest things. Tongue and groove, yes.
And with that, we go from an overflowing, rickety setup to a new, robust, modular one.
Overall, I couldn't be happier with how these look right now.
Can result in PTSD. Yeah, there's a handful of bad things that could happen. No, I'm not going to
There's
tell that
definitely
story.
improvements that I'll make over time, but this is a really solid base to build off of. For about a 3-day teardown and build up, I'm very proud of this, and I didn't even have to buy.
Love the warmth of color here. Yeah, so all of this B-roll was shot like an hour before the video went live. Like the video light that I used to light myself here, when I clicked upload on the video, that light was still on. Like that's how that's how close to publishing this was. Like for reference, you don't usually leave that light on. Like I put my video light away after I'm done filming, but like I filmed this, put in the B-roll, and then uploaded. Yeah, this was filmed pretty late at night, which these shots were in the day, but then I kind of wanted warmer. I thought it would look cooler without the daylight coming in for the final shots, so that's what I did. PTSD really makes my heart ache and sanity to plummet. Yeah. Yes. There's definitely bad things that you could come across exploring abandoned buildings. I would not encourage it, especially at night.
Expensive build at all. The total usage of
My story isn't that bad. I just don't know if I should tell it.
setup is about 70 feet of 2x4, which comes out to like 14 8-footers. The price has been fluctuating all over the place, but it's about $3 right now, so that's like $50 of wood. I've never bought anything from IKEA, but I can't imagine you can even get a particle board shelf this size for that.
Doing that final shot at night, give it a real end-of-day feel for the end of the video is great. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for a little bit. I guess I didn't think about it in that way exactly, but I'm glad it came across that way. Final thoughts at night after the day of working kind of feel.
Board shelf this size for that much. So all in all, I'm very pleased.
Did I skip stuff? I was saying IKEA shelf. Yeah. I've built some of these IKEA like grid shelves before, and they are, I'm sure they're pretty cheap, maybe a couple $100 or something. But it's like, I just don't like the feel of particle board as much. It's kind of unsatisfying to put together with the pegs and stuff, and this stuff is just so rock solid. I didn't use any clips of it, but I actually I stood on top of, I don't know if I went this high. I think I did. Before I loaded everything up, I stood on top of this part and literally no flex at all. Like this is built like a house,
That much. So all in all, I'm very pleased.
Oh, here's a better view of some of these little guys. So we got a little wind-up car, this little Porsche that came from an abandoned building, I believe. This little ducky, my Stegosaurus, my Brontosaurus. I had an Instagram story about this guy, actually. He was lost. I found him in a box, and then I put him in my pocket to make sure he ended up here. And then at some point, I pulled my keys out of my pocket, and he came flying out, and I lost him. So I spent 20 minutes looking for the stupid little Brontosaurus. And I found him eventually. And now he's back with his buddy, the Stegosaurus, who was featured in the thumbnail for the watch repair video. Because the watch was called the Seiko Orange Monster. So I painted the Stegosaurus orange. So he was a little orange monster in the thumbnail. And we got Dr. Doomtone's little casts. He makes little models. An antique spoon back there. I don't know why I have that. Little puzzle. Little Lego man. And some blank dice with no numbers on them. Yeah.
With this project, and I'm happy to have my childhood desktopper still at the centerpiece of it.
And my little workbench buddies I talked about in a previous stream. The turtle and the penguin. And this is where I soak my spray paint caps, because when they get clogged up, you can soak them in acetone. It won't melt the plastic, but it will melt the spray paint out of the valve, so you can restore old paint cans and caps that way. Creepy colors, acrylic paints. So this is what I was mixing up, the green ones, to make that spray. Got to jump to a work thing, but thanks for the stream. Cheers. Yep, thanks for hanging out. I'm wrapping up here anyway. We're basically at the end of the video. These are a bunch of little figures that you'll hear more about soon when I do that injection mold video, because I'm going to make copies of these little suckers.
So I'll probably build more of these too, since they're stackable and modular. I've got this 36-inch segment.
Oh, I also wired up this fan up here to be on like a switch. So there's a switch that comes out over here somewhere, so I can turn the fan on and off without having to reach up in there.
This 24-inch segment, and I'm probably going to build another 24-inch stack. So
I love this metal cabinet. I'm debating on whether or not I restore this thing. It's like dented at the top, which I do want to correct because it makes this one harder to pull out. I want to fix the dents. I'm debating on if I sandblast the whole thing, because I like the rusty look, but like there is like actually rust coming off of it. So certain things that are in there, like I store shipping labels up there, and it's like the shipping labels will get rust on them. So I kind of want to sandblast it down and repaint it, but it's like I love the old rusty look. I just don't like it actually being rusty.
when I move in a couple weeks, I can build more of these, choose to stack them in different ways depending on how I want to set up that new workspace. One final note, as I was doing this build,
Just sandblast inside. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I should probably just do that.
I was sharing a lot of posts and stories on my Instagram, just started using that again, so if that's your jam, go and follow me. It's Evan Monsma. I'll see you in the stream on Thursday and another video on Tuesday. Thank you for your time.
I just noticed the whole setup kind of blocks the clown now. There's a little clown up there that's been in all the videos, and he's not visible anymore, so maybe the clown needs a new little resting place. Clear coat the rust, is that nuts? Yeah, but it's already chipping off. Maybe if I went ham on it with a wire brush to like get everything that's gonna chip off, get that off, and then clear coat, that might make sense. People do that with cars, like with patina on old trucks and stuff. They'll like sand it down to get it smooth, but not take everything off, and then clear coat it. Yeah, but that's the video here. That's the setup. Definitely not done. There's other stuff I want to add. And the whole underneath is pretty underdeveloped. It's just stacked boxes, but that doesn't really get seen on video much anyway. So I don't need to like dress that up to look any nicer. Everything but the drawer faces, perhaps. Possibly, yeah. I guess I don't have a sandblasting rig anyway, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but I would like to do that eventually. Anything else I want to talk about on this setup? I'll add little dividing shelves into this thing eventually. The metal no parking sign got mounted to the back of this as a backing thing. These got hard mounted. That's pretty much it. So far I've been really enjoying this thing. Very sturdy, very nice. Want to maybe mount some more lighting to it. Some minor tweaks, but overall, very happy to have it up. Hello, Woodman. What's up, Edward? Saw those shelves on the last stream and was super impressed with how it turned out at the end. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, why don't you have a Patreon? We were talking about it earlier. I plan to, definitely. I'm only just getting started here. I'm just kind of operating off of savings right now. And I want to wait, I don't want to launch it too early and have it I don't know. I think the more people that come in day one, the better it is for the sustainability of it. So I would like to, it'll be up in the next couple months. Late summer is when I'm planning to launch it, I think. Might change my mind and launch it sooner, depending on everything with money and such. Depends on how quick the channel grows, how quick I run out of money, all that stuff. But 3-4 months, something like that. Food for thought, maybe a Ko-Fi account. It's more of a chuck a couple bucks if you like it vibe. Yeah, I've thought about that too. Or like just a straight up PayPal link. But you can donate to the stream. Also, people don't really know about the feature, but you can donate in the comments now, which is kind of interesting. I've only had somebody do it once, but it is a feature that like nobody uses on any channel. Like I rarely see it ever. I don't think YouTube's like advertised it, but it exists. That's it for this video, and I think for the stream today. I'm getting kind of hungry. So I'm probably going to wrap up and get myself some food. I don't know how other streamers do it. Like, I just went for 2.5 hours, which is like very short for like a live streamer. And they'll like just straight up react to videos and watch, or like they'll like eat food into the mic. And I'm like, how do you feel okay with doing that? I don't know how I could ever do like a 6-hour stream and like be eating on the stream. That just feels so disrespectful. I don't know. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. I wasn't trying to call you out and be like, yeah, donate. I was just saying you can, but thank you. This is, honestly, like, you know, I have a video take off every now and then and pay me a little bit, but like on average, like a $10 live stream donation probably makes me just about as much or more sometimes as my average upload does. So it helps out a lot, and I appreciate it. Love your stuff, bro. Keep it up. Thank you, Jackson. That's all. That's all for today. Not an odd. I was totally wanting to and just didn't know how. It's Aussie bucks, but hopefully it helps. Damn, Clear Focus Films with the 50. Thank you, brother. Thank you, both of you for the support. Yeah, that helps out a lot. I'm happy operating off of my savings for now, but it's like, you know, those donations do make it a little more comfortable to do what I'm doing and know that, you know, the people have my back, which is nice. Yeah, I appreciate that, especially because I'm paying taxes in a couple days. So that's coming up. Damn, thank you. $50. I think you have the biggest donation on the channel ever. Somebody might have done 50 before, but it might have been like 50 Canadian. I don't remember. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Heck yeah, man. I love the channel. I'm glad I'm here early to help. Hell yeah. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah. I think that's all for today. Yeah, sometimes I do the Wordle. I was joking about playing Minecraft, but I think it's I think that's good for today. 2.5 hours is good for me. All good, Evan. Enjoy your evening. Thanks for streaming. Till next week. Hell yeah. Thank you, Julianne. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, all the regulars and all the new people. I appreciate it a lot. It makes it a lot more fun to stream, having people in the chat to bounce back and forth with. Definitely a lot more coming. I will see you in the video on Tuesday. Thanks. It was awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Technic for fun. Yeah, final shout out before I end. Community Discord in the description. Come through if you want some people to talk to, bounce project ideas off of, or just generally show off what you're working on. That's all. Thanks. Have a good night. See ya. All right. Peace, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Octonite, dang, just missed it. Hope you had a good stream. Yes, it was a good stream. I leave them all public, so you can watch back the VOD. Sorry for ending right as you got here, but I leave them public for people to go back and watch.
All right. Peace, everybody.